January 26, 2020 is a day that will live in infamy. It is a day that the world lost a father, savant, icon, mogul, a legend. It was arguably the worst day in American history, and though there's been many a storm, none quite roared like this one. The sudden nature of your departure from the only realm we know was as inconceivable as those we've yet to see. One thing is for certain, we, all of us, are shattered. We are shattered for your family. Every last member of the Bryant family has our heavy hearts. We are shattered for your companions, those who accompanied you on that fateful day, and their families as well. We are shattered for your legacy, seeing the seeds you've planted manifest into miniature depictions of a giant and that nearly unblemished blueprint to absolute excellence that they surely would have exacted. It certainly imbibed us the same. Lastly, we are shattered as your fans, as onlookers, admirers of your craft, witnesses to basketball glory, students of your philosophy, with nightly front row seats to greatness in its purest form. We are all shattered. But what are we to make of those pieces? How does one gather the words to describe the indescribable, to console the inconsolable, to comprehend the unfathomable? Difficult as it may be, many are trying. Friends and colleagues have offered emotional insight into not only the legend of you, the player, but the reality of you, the man. A man who loved his family in retirement as he loved the game in his prime, and then some. Your humanity has been highlighted above all else in this tragedy, and one can only pray that your spirit smiles on that fact. Your intellect added to that humanity, and many have sworn by it, on basketball, business, culture, and everything else in between. The Mamba mentality wasn't simply restricted to sports, but to all facets of life. From the athlete to the educator, the Mamba mentality was applicable, a testament to doing your best work by giving your complete self. Dr. Martin Luther King once said, "We must set out to do a good job, irrespective of race, and do it so well that nobody could do it better." Whatever your life's work is, do it well, even if it does not fall in the category of one of the so-called big professions. Do it well. If it falls your lot to be a street sweeper, sweep streets like Michelangelo painted pictures, like Shakespeare wrote poetry, like Beethoven composed music. Sweep streets so well that the host of heaven and earth will have to pause and say, "Here lived a great street sweeper who swept his job well." It was under a similar context that you inspired a nation to aspire for excellence. And to many who had the distinct honor of knowing you personally, were held accountable for any lapses in such aspirations. I once heard another wise man say, if you're gonna love a man and you're gonna fall in love with his wisdom, you ought to start building the character as the support for that wisdom. Through your many interviews, writings, films, friends, family, and that unfettered display of dominance you exhibited night after night for 2 decades, we, now void of your physical, fill our hearts with your philosophy, something that will live on as eternally as your memory. Whenever we shoot a paper basket and yell, "Kobe," you will live. Whenever we chase our dreams with vigor until completion, you will live. And whenever the game of basketball is played, no matter where in the world, you will live. Thank you, Kobe, for the role you played in our lives coming up, and the role your influence will continue to play in the lives to come. Thank you. God be with your wife, daughters, friends, family, and all else directly involved and affected in this tragedy. Mamba,